Hello all and welcome to, we're just going to call it Picard because I can't say the two other words without throwing up. Welcome to Picard, Season 2, Episode I Don't Give a Fuck. Episode 5. How are you doing, Loki?
I called it What a Shit Show.
Oh my good lord. Well, let's do the good stuff first. Welcoming Pops, welcoming Roger Ryan Athe, welcome. Who else is in chat right now? My love, Mary. Hopefully your meeting isn't going too badly. And Man Squatch, welcome. Hopefully you're having a good day and work isn't making you want to throw people out a window. Because watching this episode will do it. But, you know, it's interesting.
What exactly was interesting?
Loki, hold. My coffee just doesn't taste right. Hold on. Now let me into my damn liquor bottle here. Hold on. All right. So now
I already got that.
We're gonna pour the damn Kahlua in here. All right.
I got a Coke. I got a Coke with vanilla Crown and grenadine. So I've got my cherry vanilla Crown Coke.
All right. Well, I got my Kahlua coffee, so I think we're ready to go now.
God help us all.
Yep, that's better. There we go. That's better. Damn.
Badass is apparently concerned for our mental health as long as we have alcohol. Remember, if you would like to contribute to the Rambling Canuck and Stone _Loki alcohol beverage fund, just contact one of us and we will let you know how to contribute to the alcohol fund for the Star Trek Picard review.
Yeah, pretty much. Our livers will thank you.
He's getting Kahlua. I've got my vanilla Crown, and yeah.
Well, if in case emergency, I can break the glass and grab the Crown Apple. But
God help us all.
I've got the Kahlua for now. That's funny. I have booze. It's funny now. I look back. That bottle would have lasted me one day when I was younger, and now it's been sitting in my fridge for about a month and a half to 2 months.
Funny how that works, huh?
Anyway, this show seems to have been sitting on a fucking shelf for 2 months.
I used to have a fallen soldier. I called it the shelf of the fallen soldiers. Yeah. And every time I'd fill one shelf up, I put another shelf up underneath it.
Yeah.
And fill that one up. And that was back in the Bachelor days.
Yep.
That was that was right after moving out and getting your own place. And
we had in our me and my old my brother from another mother, we had an apartment together, and in our kitchen we had like three walls all shelving, right?
Yeah.
So on the top of the shelf, that's where the bottles would go. So when you walked into our kitchen and you looked up, all you saw was like, you know, his vodka and then my whiskey and then his whiskey and then, you know, whatever else weird alcohol he was into. And then I allowed him to put a Budweiser can up there, but then I put 3 Blue right beside it because Blue is the real beer and Budweiser can kiss my ass. But anyway, although it's better than Club, anything is better than Club. But anyway, enough talking about booze, although that would be more entertaining. Oh, God, where do we find our fallen people this week?
Up their own asses, turned sideways. Candy asses, up their own candy asses, turned sideways.
Yeah. I mean, like, okay, so we won't get to how I need a drink. How this ends with the queen at the end just yet. Fuck.
The wannabe copied scene from Mission Impossible 1. Did you get that while you were watching that? I'm like, dude, they're Paramount's and Paramount does the Mission Impossible movies. So they're like, hey, we'll just redo the Mission Impossible scene, but we'll do it at the end of Picard.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly what they did. This whole thing with Agnes. And let me ask you something. If you can't affect, and then this blows all their shit right out of the water. If you can't affect the computer unless you're at the computer, how the fuck did she get her ID through security?
Well, apparently they could send one through. Because it said in dialogue that Miss Watcher Woman there can get one through for a limited time. But the jig is going to be up soon. I can get you in, but you're going to be screwed in about 5 minutes. So that's how she got in. Dialogue. Whatever dialogue there is. Spiner.
And you know what, Mark? I hope they all die. I hope all of them fucking die. You know what? Before my buddy here starts going, you said Picard should die. No, I didn't. This isn't fucking Picard. So fuck this guy and screw all of them and let them all fucking die. I don't care anymore.
Well, does Brent Spiner really have to be in it now?
Oh, and his daughter, Soji. Yeah. Fucking jerk me another one, you dumb fucking hacks. You absolutely talentless fucking hacks.
I think this show is going to be me setting them up and Loki knocking them out.
A Soong? Really? She's a Soong? Do they all look like her? Are they all just carbon copies of her? Because we know all the Soongs look like Brent. Yep. We know all of them look like Brent. So do all the females look like Soji?
Apparently. Because they're going to tie it in that Soji was a real boy.
Kiss my ass, CBS Paramount.
Yeah, Soji was a real boy. Didn't you know that?
Oh, you know what? I couldn't fucking, I was like, I had eaten. Unfortunately, I will never, ever fucking ever eat before I watch one of these again, because as soon as that fucking bitch took her top off, I was like, oh, no. She's like, I'm going to be in my spandex underclothes. Oh, it's about as bad as seeing Tilly fucking beached on the fucking beach, fucking squirming around.
Did they do that in season 4? Or is that a season 5 prequel?
God help me. What do we do, Captain? I don't know. We can't transport her up. Admiral, better be whales here. Yeah, fucking Tilly and Soji showed up.
Yep. But, like, why Soji? It would have made more sense for it to be a boy, wouldn't it? I mean, I get it in today's modern age, that's not allowed, but wouldn't it be more appropriate for it to be a young boy that looks like Data?
Admiral, trying to transport these 2 fucking whales up is draining all the energy out of the dilithium crystals. My God, man. I feel like bones.
Like, what the fuck? Like, when? Like, I don't get it. If Soji is the daughter of Soong, okay, fine. So when we have Soong's death scene, why does he not marry her?
Oh, God help me. That's not the same Soong. That's not the same Soong.
I'm not talking about the death scene that we saw in Picard 1. I'm talking about back in the good old days.
Because that's not the same.
Lore, and he calls in Data.
Because that's like great grandpa Soong.
Right?
That's not the same Soong. The Soong we saw in this episode is not the same Soong we saw later. And there's another Soong in Enterprise that looks just like fucking Brent Spiner, because apparently they all look alike. None of them look any different. And you've got the Soong from the end of season 1 of Picard.
Yes.
So you've got like fucking a whole gaggle of Soongs that all look alike. And I'm sure there's someone out there going, they're all the same person. No. And CBS probably thinks they're all the same fucking person. Because they don't know what the hell they're writing. And Kapla, bird of prey, miss your brother.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say. Was Kapla, bird. Hopefully your blood pressure is going okay. But it's just I don't understand. Like I said, the last, I don't know how many episodes we've covered now. 5, 4. There we go. Seriously, they could have done so much more with this. And I was so optimistic at the end of season 1 that I'm just like, what the fuck?
I tried to warn you.
I'm just like, what the fuck? Who let the guy with the fucking, grade 2 education get into the fucking writer's room?
We haven't even fucking started on this whole thing with Renee Picard. Lick my fucking ass, CBS!
Oh, yes. The savior of us all.
Here we go again. A woman that's the key to everything. A woman that's the key to everything. Renee Picard, all I can think of, as soon as they said that name, I'm thinking generations, real bad, Renee, burned to death in the fire. I'm like, oh my God! All they've done with STD, STP, all this shit is kill the original characters, the original meaning, and the original story. And it is not beyond the realm of possibility that that's exactly what fucking J.J. Abrams is out to do, is completely ruin the original shit that people wrote before he came along. Yeah, Bird taught herself to be a test pilot.
Yeah, I was just about to highlight that. So let me see if I get this straight. We're supposed to feel some type of, I guess, rooting for the good guy. When the sheet that we're not told that she struggled and she had to, fight and claw to get where she is. No, she was in university by 15 or 16, was it? 16, 15?
16 years old.
16, yeah. University by 16.
Built her own spaceship at 12 and all that fucking other shit.
Why are we supposed to give a flying tiddly fuck about this person?
Because her last name's Picard.
Yeah, but they've already made her God mode. Oh, except they gave her an Achilles heel. She has depression.
Because of Q. Because of Q.
Oh, my head.
Because of Q. She has depression because of Q. Because Q has convinced her she should be depressed.
I don't understand why. Like, on one hand, I get it. Right? I would expect this from Days of Our Lives or some fucking soap opera where, they're keeping their finger on the pulse. Everything's got to be, female.
Oh, not only that, she has to be the bestest ever.
Ever. Yeah, like they forget the hero journey, don't they?
No one's ever come along that's piloted a ship like she's going to.
Yeah. Like, I get what they're trying to do. They're just failing miserably. They're writing a hero's journey with a already built hero. It would be like, instead of Superman learning, remember back in the day when they actually did that right? Superman learning, oh shit, I've got these powers, and oh shit, if I tackle that guy, I'm going to hurt him. And, struggling with it and all the rest of it. And then, going to the Crystal Palace and all that fun stuff and finding out who he really is. And my phone's ringing. Of course it is. But if you can wait, that's what voicemails are for.
Well, Superman's getting killed now. Did you hear about that?
but
Henry Cavill's Superman's
remember
getting
when
killed.
they did it right? So even Superman,
As a
he doesn't
baby.
just grab the fucking cape one day, throw it on, and he's good to go. There's a story that builds up to that. He fails a couple of times. He fucks things up.
Well, now
He throws a
everything's
truck halfway across the field.
well, now everything's women, and they can't fuck up. So they just got to be badass right out of the gate. They've just got to be total ultimate badasses right out of the gate.
Yeah, it's like, but that's not how you gain people's interest.
But
Like,
that's how. But that's them.
Story that's not. If they're already at the max, then what's the fucking point?
Canuck, what you have to understand is Soji. Last season, Soji is their self-insert into Star Trek. This year, Renee is their self-insert into Star Trek. They're inserting themselves. So they have to be perfect. They have to be the bestest ever. That is their way to connect to the story and write the story. The hero's journey is over. There is no more hero's journey. At least that's the way JJ and the rest of them want it. How you write this shit now is you write it around a character that is you. And you need to be the best. You need to be the key to everything so that you can write it around you. So these fucking scissoring hens get in the writer's room and they write about them being that character. And everything gets built around that. That is the way the writer's room works now. Because the old hero's journey needs to be replaced by this shit. That is why you've had such big pushbacks. And what they want is they want this to last longer than you, so that it is permanently replaced with this shit.
But it's just so stupid. Like there's so, even if you go on this storyline alone, you could have done it. But I mean, what the fuck? It's like I said last review. This is a show in need of a main storyline. Because it's all subplots. And eventually they touch on the main plot for about 5 seconds.
Renee Picard is going to be your main plot point.
Oh, dear Lord.
This is the main plot point. This is what they have to fix because Q convinced her she's depressed. And that's going to ruin the future. This one woman creates Starfleet, creates the future that we have. If this one woman doesn't go to Europa, none of that will ever happen, and we'll have the tyrannical Imperium of Picard instead of, oh, everyone gets along and kisses each other's ass.
But it just, I don't know. I mean, I watched the episode today, and it's just like, am I in a fever dream? Because like I said before, and you know, some people have kind of gone, I think you're being a little hard. The reason I'm being so harsh is, you can ask Loki. Last season, I was probably one of the few that went, hey, it was good, shut up. I was one of the few. So for me, what they've done this season is even more of a piss off. Because I defended last season's stuff. And I'm still okay with that. But this season, what the fiddler's fuck is going on? I'm still not 100% sold on. I'm just not. And Q is my favorite.
Well, Q needs help. Q needs Sung's help. Yeah. Right. How do you love that? A god needs a human being's help to do something. How do you love them apples? And he's enticing him with a cure for his Soji daughter.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh. I was half expecting, for him to pull off her arm or something and really fuck up the timeline. But so I guess it could be worse. Rewrite it so that she was the first android instead of Lore. Which Lore wasn't the first, but he was the first one to actually not, self-destruct completely. You know, I thought for sure that's where they were going when I saw her. I'm like, oh no, he's going to take her arm off. And we're going to find out that she was the first positronic brain.
No.
And I'm like, if they do that, I'm throwing something. And then he, pulls out blood, and it's like, okay, she's human. Okay.
People had enough problem with that with B4.
Yeah.
People threw a fucking fit when they found that out. No, Laura was first, and then there was Data. And then there was B4, Laura and Data.
So we have a suggestion from chat there, Loki.
I might just make something like that, Pops. I'm really considering it.
I'm just, tossing it out there,
Do you like STD on the front and then on the back, two hens fucking scissoring it with Picard on the bottom of it? Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. But like, it's so hard to even go frame by frame on this mess because, for one, the transporters are working again. Yay. Should we talk about the bus?
Again?
When
the ice bust? Oh, yeah. God help me.
Should we go there?
Sure, because they're doing that. You know what, guys? They are doing that in California. I'm telling you, every day they have buses running up and down Sacramento with ICE agents and immigration. They do. They really do. I want to tell you something. They would blow up Santa Monica before they would let someone do that. I'm not shitting you. These crazy ass liberals would blow up the entire fucking state before
Loki, you're missing the point. Loki, you're missing the point. See, the Latino people in this episode are not representing Latinos in 21st century LA. Did you pick up on that one yet? No, they're not. See, the only ones that get deported from LA like that are Republicans. So
they've all left. They've all left willingly.
I mean, they're the only ones getting put out of there by buses, from what I hear.
That shit started back in the 80s.
I know.
That shit started back in the 80s. Trust me.
Oh, good
Soji
Lord.
is a really real girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can see that. Renee Picard teaching Q how to be better.
Oh, of course. But of course. Or, it'll be Soji. One of the two. And isn't it interesting that, okay, they build up they build up Renee Picard, which I grew up in a French town, Long Lac, Ontario. And I hate to tell the writers this, but most French families, if the person is named Renee, they are of the male persuasion.
Yep.
I hate to burst their bubble, but most of the time, Renee in a French area is a dude.
She named herself. She also learned to talk within the first day after being born, self-taught, no lessons. She taught herself to talk within a day, and she named herself. Yeah, because she knew better than everybody else.
Yeah,
bestest as ever.
Bestest as ever. Yeah, but but here's the problem: you have a show full of bestest as evers. The Doctor, Soji, now Renee Picard, and then you have, of course, Seven, and then you have her other half there, and then you have the backup characters, Picard and Rios, who are there for plot points.
I just don't. I just don't understand this shit. I really don't. It's not Trek made for normal people. It's not Trek made for fans. It's not Trek made for normies. It's Trek for scissoring hens to pah about, and yeah, it's just it.
Oh,
this is worse.
Bob points out a good point, and I was going to bring this up. Why does everybody look like everybody else? Elwood on the bus?
Yep.
Why? For number one, you can't. The problem with Elwood being on that bus, or a person who looks like Elwood, so you can't even say a couple of generations back, happened to have a family trait. He's not from Earth.
But he's the immigrant. He's the immigrant Romulan. In season 1, he's the immigrant Romulan.
But he was not on Earth.
But it doesn't matter. That's why fucking what's her name, Rafi, imagines it's him. You have to understand that's why Rafi, and he kind of resembled, but it wasn't him. Rafi, that scene where Rafi sees him, she's seen the actor.
Yeah.
She has seen the character. And she's seen the character to remind you that the Romulans are all fucking homeless immigrants that need to be taken care of.
Oh, yeah.
And cared about.
Of course. But it's just, like, to me, it's just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. I had so much hope for this fucking season. And to me, I've been just fucking disappointed.
Well, and that's the thing. So, some of us saw this coming last season. And we saw what they were doing. And, me and you got into it in a huge way over whether this was season 1 was a giant pile of shit or something watchable. I saw what they were doing with Soji. I saw what they were doing with the other characters. The fucking end, that whole last 3 episodes were nothing but a giant pile of garbage. From the Borg cube being eaten by a fucking plant to the fleet that shows up that are all the same ships. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. This is laziness.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the writing was lazy. And that's the problem. And that's exactly what you've got here. Lazy, thoughtless, bullshit writing. And it's not about me being wrong or you being right or any of that bullshit. It's the fact that this is what Paramount does. And it's not CBS anymore. This is fucking Paramount. There is no 25% difference anymore. None of that matters. Paramount's got it all. It's all under its umbrella. Yeah. For anybody out there that was like, once Paramount get it, they'll fix it. No, they won't, because you've got the same problem. The CBS executives that you had to deal with before, you're experiencing the exact same problems. The showrunners, the writers, this is the problem with this shit.
Yeah, they need to... Paramount, if they were going to really change things, the heads would have been gone. Like, the head of the departments would have been gone. Clean sweep. But they're not changing anything because they kept the same people in charge. It's like, if you look at any time there's major change, I can point to, here I go making a wrestling analogy. Yay. When WWE bought WCW. WWE went, we'll take the catalog, we'll take the logos, we'll even take the rings. Employees? Nah. They're too expensive. We'll get them later. They didn't bring over the WCW writing staff. Sure as hell didn't bring over Vince Russo. And they didn't bring Eric Bischoff in until much years later. That's changing. This is just different people holding the purse strings. Business as usual.
Business as usual.
If it was going to be a major change, none of those heads of those departments would be there. They'd all be new guys.
You got to get rid of Bad Reboot, Bad Robot, Klutzman, all of that shit that came in with 2009. You have to completely gut all of that out and bring in people that actually care about Star Trek, what Star Trek was before all of this shit started. And because all of the, from the pew pew, you and me talked about the pew pew. Pew pew, it's all 2009. We have to get rid of all that shit.
Yeah, because space battle in Star Trek and space battle in Star Wars should look different. Not 25% different, a fuckload different. It shouldn't be Star Wars. And that's what we saw in the opening of this, was Star Wars.
And yeah, just go look at the battles in Deep Space Nine with Jem'Har, with Klingons. Yeah. That is Star Trek battle fucking candy. That's like, yes, that is the joy of DS9 is watching all that shit.
Yeah.
This is not that.
This is not that. This is Rogue One or the prequels. But what needs to happen, I think, is here's a little thought for Hollywood. Stop giving your actors writing control. Because a lot of this is Stewart. I hate to say it, but a lot of it is fucking Stewart. A lot of the stuff we see on the fucking screen aligns with Stewart. We can blame writers, we can blame Hollywood, but I'm more cynical than that. This is Stewart. It's the only reason he came back is because they gave him more control. This is Stewart, whether we like it or not. When we watched him in TNG, and we enjoyed Picard. He didn't. Right? He said so. I'm not talking out of church. The man said so. I'm done with that character. Okay, cool. Look at how he played Xavier. This has Stewart written all over it. This is what happens when you walk up to somebody's house and say, okay, we will do the show. We will do it where you want to do it, number one, because it would have saved them a shit ton of money to film it in Toronto, like they do STD. But no, it's not filmed in Toronto. It's filmed in one of the most expensive places they can, because Stewart said so. All of this is a great majority of this is Stewart. Whether, and maybe I'm being a little bit more cynical than most, because most will say, no, it's bad writing. No. Stewart would not come back. He would not do Picard unless he had control. That was the only way Stewart was coming back. I knew this going into season 1. We can blame writers. We can blame anybody we want. At the end of the day, it sits at Stewart's feet. And the reason I say that is, Loki, do you think any of this would have hit screen if Stewart was against it?
Nope.
No. Not a fucking frame would have hit the fucking airwaves if Stewart went, yeah, that's, to quote Hulk Hogan, that doesn't work for me, brother.
Stewart, this show lives and dies with Stewart. So pretty much whatever he says goes. He wanted it. He wanted to be in the writer's room. He wanted to give his checks and balances on everything. They kind of got to listen to him. Otherwise, they aren't going to do the show. And this is what you get.
Yeah. Because, I mean, and I hate to put it that way, because I love Picard. Picard was my entry into Star Trek. That was my first captain. I've said it over and over again. Picard was the dude. Then I met Kirk and DS9 and went, what the fuck, when I saw Voyager, and then what the blue hell when I saw Enterprise. But anyway, so I entered in Picard. The problem is there's nobody willing, there's nobody that can stand up to Stewart and go, no, we need to go this way. Because all Stewart does is go, well, if we go that way, you don't have me. Take it or leave it. Stewart doesn't care. Stewart's at that point of his life where it's like, we're doing it my way or no way. And CBS went, okay. All yours, bud.
Both of these seasons could have been a lot better. Yeah. And a lot less head shaking and a lot less. I mean, I need alcohol to get through this. I really do. Yeah. I never have to do that on other shows. So even ones I hate, like Halo, I didn't have to drink when I watched Halo. It was just really, really bad. Yeah. This is a whole nother ball of wax.
Well, see, and like I said, and I think it's important and to, because we do that in and you'll all have to forgive me, but I'm a wrestling nerd, so live with me, and it's WrestleMania week, so yay me. Wrestling fans do that all the time. How dare they do this to this person's character? Oh, can you believe this storyline? How could they? And then you find out months or years later, it was the fucking wrestler's idea.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, it's bad writing. It's the writers that are writing them badly. No, this is what they wanted to do, stupid. Oh. And then all of a sudden, it's funny because for a long time, they will go, well, a good example of this, Alexa Bliss. Nobody will know who that is. Alexa Bliss does this creepy character on wrestling, and it's really weird. But anyway, all the fans were like, oh, it's Vince McMahon. It's the stupid writers. They've wrote her so terribly, blah, 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 blah. Interview just a little while ago. She comes out. Now, in the wrestling world in WWE, Triple H is God. Vince McMahon is the devil. Anything Triple H touches is gold. Everything Vince touches is, well, the devil. So she comes out and she goes, one of the best things that Triple H did for me was give me the gimmick that I'm in right now. It was his idea. Well, that set the wrestling world on fire. Now they're all torn on whether to like it or not because it was a Triple H idea, not a Vince's idea. We have to stop, I think, blaming. Some blame goes to the writing room. Some blame goes to the executives. But at the same time, we have to remember that we live in a world where the actors have a lot more. The actors today have a lot more power than, we'll say, Shatner did on the original Trek. I bet you they have more power and more sway with the writing room and with the directors than DS9 did. I bet you they have more power and more sway than TNG did. Because it's no longer the big industries holding the actors hostage. It's the other way around. If you want me, we do it this way. Once they get a name, then they're made, as it were. That phone's going to annoy me. Anyway. Oh, it's probably something stupid. Or maybe my daughter. But oh well, I'll call her after work after I'm done this. Or it's dialysis, but shouldn't be dialysis. I don't have that till tomorrow.
And I agree with Project Storytime there. Stewart is at fault, but it doesn't excuse Kurtzman and the other producers.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
It does. They're enabling. They're enablers. I'll give them that. But I think really, at the end of the day, the fault lies at Stewart's feet, because none of this would hit air if Stewart went, that doesn't work for me, brother.
That's right.
If they pitch something to Stewart and Stewart goes, yeah, no, it's not happening. And the old days of, well, the actor has no say in it, and you know, he's just doing what he's told. He's gone to work, punched in his clock. The writers are writing stupid shit. Has long gone. We do not give enough credit to how much power they actually have now. Especially somebody of Stewart's stature. Stewart doesn't do shit on screen unless he wants to. I look at it back to the old wrestling days. We used to always laugh. If Hogan didn't want to do something, Hogan didn't do it. And he could. He had power and control in his contract. If he didn't want to go shoulders down for Joe Blow number 2, he didn't go shoulders down for Joe Blow number 2. Because that didn't work for me, brother. It's the same thing with Stewart. If Stewart looks at the script and goes, you want me to do what? Yeah, no. Fix that. Then they go, yes, sir. And they fix it. Because at the end of the day, they need to keep Stewart happy. Whether we like it or not. It's not the other way around anymore. It's the reverse. So the writers and Kurtzman and everybody else takes the blame, and Stewart just sits back and laughs as everything burns, as he goes, that was my idea. That was my idea. That was my idea. But they blame him, so I'm good.
And for anybody out there wondering, yes, I am going to work on a t-shirt that has 2 hens with scissors, like trying to scissor each other with their scissors. Yes.
No, there you go. See?
2 fighting hens squaring off.
I have a bone to pick. So that'll be 2 shirts you get from my stream. I'm just saying. Because if you don't know, hashtag blame Loki was mine. That's why I can pull. Hey, copyrighted. You're not allowed to use that in chat. Because I started that. But it's just, yes, they do, like the writers, Kurtzman and the support staff hold some of the blame, but at the end of the day, it's Stewart.
Well, they're enabling Stewart, so
yeah,
Kurtzman is literally enabling Stewart, so yes.
Yeah.
And hashtag blame Canuck. Thank you, Project Storytime. Yes.
Yeah. No. It's hashtag blame Loki. Hashtag orchestrated by Canuck.
No, blame him. I'm tired of getting blamed for everything.
I am the evil.
Dude, do you know how much people
going, excellent?
Do you know how many people blame me for all kinds of shit? I mean, oh no, my channel's dying. It's all your fault, Loki. Oh no, this and that's happening. It's all your fault, Loki. Oh my God, Star Trek is bad. It's all your fault, Loki.
Yeah, and I just sit back and go, everything is going as I have foreseen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my role. I'm just in the background going, excellent. All right, push this button. Ooh, big red button. But like, I wanted to like season 2. I really did. And so far, I don't hate it per se. It's just underwhelming. That's the best way I can describe it. It's underwhelming. And it's next. I don't. I don't know. It's just next. It's underwhelming, and the first thought that comes to my mind after watching an episode was, meh, next. I don't, and I just don't get it. Because it could have been so much more. But the problem is you have too many cooks in the kitchen. And I knew in season 1, I think part of the reason I was so happy with season 1 was because it didn't look like this. It had hints of it, but it wasn't, jump the shark moment yet. Now it just seems like they've given the pen and the paper to Stewart and said, write something. Give us bullet points. We'll fill in the rest. Because a lot of what I'm seeing on screen is bits and tiblets of stuff that Stewart has said in interviews over the years. It's all Stewart. It's all his belief system. It's really getting annoying.
Mm-hmm. Let me answer it. Hola, yeah. ¿Cómo está?
Yeah. Please jump off bridge. Thank you. Oh, I don't care. It just, to me, it's, I don't know. It's just so underwhelming, and just next.
It's crap. It's shit. This is what we've been sitting through. Is giant piles of shit.
Yeah.
That they call Star Trek. That's not really Star Trek.
That's gonna ruin my bloody liver. But like half the time I'm at a loss when we're getting ready. A little bit of back behind the scenes here. When we're getting ready to do the show, normally I have my music blasting because I need to get my mind in a freaking frame. Because I'm usually, when I get to this computer, sitting here going, huh? What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck? What the fuck? How the fuck do I talk about this?
We haven't even, yeah. And there's so much more to this episode that is just nonsensical bullshit.
We just sat here and talked like we were at the bar, but we kind of are. But go figure. But it just, to me, this episode, like you said, okay, they erase it by a couple of minutes in dialogue. Okay, we can get one person in. Okay. The person they choose, Girardi.
Yeah.
Of all the people you send Girardi.
Because she knows what's going on.
Why wouldn't you send 7?
Someone who could hack something. They send in Girardi. Yeah, because she knows she's got the Born Queen. She can do anything.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
No, they don't. But they're going to.
Let's touch on that for a fucking second. All right, so we had Elmer Fudd with a shotgun. Now that's an insult to Elmer Fudd. But okay, so she's sitting there with a shotgun. And she blows away the queen. Just shoots the queen. Which, okay, I have a few questions leading up to this whole, I'm going to blow the queen away with a double barrel shotgun. Okay, so the Borg Queen gains access to the ship's computer by sounding like Rios. Apparently. And she lures a police officer to the ship, which he finds with a flashlight, because a flashlight can find a cloaking device. The fuck? Then not only does he find the fucking ship, but he's able to enter said ship. How the fuck, I don't know. But he's able to enter the ship. How the fuck does a 21st century fucking human enter a fucking ship that they have no idea
how to get into.
Like, if you're that officer, right? In logical, and that's the problem. There's the word I'm not supposed to use. Logic. He finds this big fucking thing you can't see. He's not going in. I worked security for 15 fucking years, and I'll tell you this. That's not protocol. That doesn't work for me, brother. He finds that fucking thing. He's on his microphone. Back up. Now. He's not going anywhere without a fucking task force behind his ass.
He'd need to be one very, very dumb individual to do something like that.
Because you've stumbled across technology you don't know about. Right? In the security industry, we used to call them robo-dodos. Or Robocops.
Yes.
Security guards that thought they were the best thing since sliced bread. Good example of that. We had in a well-known gang area, there was a gang war, and the guard was on site, and somebody had thrown a Molotov cocktail through somebody's window because they didn't like him. And the dumbass goes, "The door is open, I'm going in." I have never seen a mobile unit scramble, because I was part of it, in my life faster. Because we were scared by the time we got there, he'd be dead. And then we yelled at him for about 2 hours about protocol and you don't enter without fucking people with stripes and guns, or what the fuck are you thinking, you moron? And to me, that's where this falls apart right there. Because if he's a cop, he finds something that's invisible to the naked eye, but is a solid mass. If he has 5 minutes of fucking training, the guy is not going in alone. Number two, 90% of the police force, they drive in pairs. It was the one advantage they had over security. They had 2 people in a car. We had 1 person in a car. So where the fuck was his partner?
Non-existent. He doesn't exist because they never thought about it, so it does not
where
exist.
The fuck is his partner? First of all. Second of all, why in the fuck is he breaking common sense protocol that he's hitting that mic and going, we need to get like there's something here. What the fuck? And number 3, how the fuck does he get in? How the fuck does he know how to get in to this fucking thing?
It's simply explained in the subsection paragraph of the script that says, if I didn't think about it, it doesn't exist. So because they didn't write about it, because they didn't explain it, you can't bitch about it because they didn't show you about it.
Oh, yeah.
See, none of that matters to them.
No.
So it shouldn't matter to you.
Yeah. So, okay, now he gets in. Okay, fine, whatever the fuck. Dumb number 2. Walks in, finds the Borg Queen, gets captured by the Borg Queen. Wonderbar.
Why didn't she assimilate him? Right there. Why didn't she assimilate him and then be like, Agnes, come, Agnes. You know that I am your daddy. It's your daddy. Please come to me. And then have fucking Dark Helmet be like, fooled you. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, but Loki, here's my problem. They fucked up. The Queen has this nice little tentacle because somebody's been watching too much hentai and threw it at the cop. Well, okay. Why didn't she just fucking do that the last time that the fucking crew was in front of her?
Because they didn't think of that.
Right?
So you can't question any of this.
If she has this capability, why the fuck shouldn't she just do this in the first fucking place? Why is she wasting time?
Because they didn't think about it. See, this is their way out of everything. If we didn't think about it, it does not exist. It's like the fucking old lady in Star Wars that everybody was like, oh my god, grandma librarian Jedi is like, if it is not in our service, it does not exist. That's exactly the way they look at this. If we didn't bring it up, it doesn't exist or doesn't matter. So you shouldn't be worried about it. Shut your pie hole and consume what we've given you, or we'll call you an Istanobi and Yahtzee.
Yeah. And Pat asks if I told some of the stories that I've got from work, we'd be here a while. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a fun one that I probably can't tell on YouTube or I'd get nailed, but yeah, I got to see. I witnessed first and last date all in the same day. That was fun. I'll leave it at there because the guy was dumped by the time at the end of the day. I guarantee it. But anyway, also, if someone can explain to me why people like to make out in the back of cemeteries, I'll gladly take the list.
I can tell you. I can tell you.
Good Lord.
The consecrated ground gets wet.
Well, you know how awkward, Loki, you want to talk about awkward situation? Because I need to tell a fun story before we wrap this up because this has been a nightmare. By all means. So I'm on patrol mobile and we do the major cemetery in the city, which is Brookside. And Brookside Cemetery has a major field of honor, which is the military burial. And they have their own gate, the back of the cemetery. And it's hilarious. It's a hilarious part because if you drive by with your GPS, the gate's not on the GPS. Half of the roads of the field of honor are not on the GPS. Don't ask me why, they're just not. Because it's a military entrance. So it's not on the GPS. But that's where people like to park and get
howl at the moon. Howl at the moon.
Yeah, they like to howl at the moon. Yeah, it's right by the airport, so it's kind of romantic, I guess. But it's at the back, the military entrance of the cemetery. So I'm doing my patrol as normal. I get around to the back gate, and sure as hell, there's a car sitting there. Do you know how awkward it is to tell your cousin that they need to get the fuck off property? Mm-hmm. Which was funny because all I did was I turned around and I walked up to the window and knocked on it and I says, you got to go and tell your mother I said hi. And I walked away. But yeah, that was fun. I got to see my cousin out on a date. That was something I'd like to erase from my memory banks. Mm-hmm. That's fun. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
How much more of this shit do we have to look forward to?
I think there's only 5 more, isn't there?
Good, thank God.
Yeah,
I'm already like no. I couldn't watch season 4 of STD. I just haven't given a fuck. The only reason why I'm watching this shit is because of you. Because I said if you watch season 3 of STD, I'll watch season 2 Picard with you. God help me. I was wrong on both accounts.
Yeah. But so this is definitely a hashtag blame Loki orchestrated by Canuck. Be careful of the deals you make with the devil. I'm not necessarily saying who's which. Mm-hmm. And who made the deal, but there's that.
Yeah, at least it wasn't 2 of your cousins. Andrew.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah. Thank God. That would have been bad. Might have had to actually talk to my aunt if that was the case. Yeah. But it's fun. Or there was time that when I hinted at first and last date. Yeah. So I had to lock a gate on the outskirts of the city. And if the idiot would have parked his Cherokee on the outside of my gate, I wouldn't have cared. But he was parked inside my gate. So he had to go.
Oh, yeah.
So I walk up and I knock on the window. And unlike normal people who just roll down the window just to crack and go, "What the fuck do you want?" And you tell them, "Get the fuck out of here. You're locked in here till I come by at 6 o'clock in the morning." He opens the door to the car. And I mean opens the door. Like full wide. The minute he does that, the interior lights come on. And he positions himself so that he can look at me and I can look at him in the back seat of his SUV. And in the back seat of his SUV is a very, very white, embarrassed woman who has nothing but her panties on. And he proceeds to sit there and force conversation with me for 25 minutes as she turns different colors.
Mm-hmm.
And all he had to do was roll down his window a little bit and drive away. But no, he opened his window, his full door, and she's sitting there. She's going white, red, redder,
purple,
back to white, as he's talking about how the football team is doing this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is stupid.
Remind me when we get up here to tell you about that time I met Jake the Snake Roberts.
All right. But yeah, it was, I think that was his first and last date with that particular female. And if he made it home alive, I'll be surprised. But yeah, the things you see when you work security, I tell you. Could fill a book. But anyway, with that, folks, I'll leave you with a happy story because, well, there's nothing happy about what we just watched. So there you go. I had to break out security stories. Oh boy, I need more drinks. All right. With that, thank you, Loki. I greatly appreciate you suffering with me.
Oh yeah, anytime. Try and limit that to once a week, though.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
anytime, but yeah, once a week.
Dialysis was bad, but Jesus. Anyway, with that, folks, take her easy, and I'll talk to you soon.
Later.